my little Easter hot cross bun tutorial. Um, we're going to make a couple of different Easter treats. Everybody loves hot cross buns. What's not to love about hot cross buns? And they're always so much better if you make them yourself. So I'm going to show you how that is done. And let's get into it. So I've actually got a couple of different recipes. Oops, wrong screen, sorry. Couple of different recipes. Let's try that again. There we go. Saved in my week here. So I'll just explain these to you. So I've just done a quick search on COOKIDOO to find all of the different recipes. There are hot cross buns, chocolate hot cross buns. There's a brioche hot cross bun. There's these ones that look like they've actually got like an icing cross, and so I'm going to give them a try. We've just got our standard hot cross bun, the one that's got all of the reviews and is like the #1 favorite recipe. We've also got a loaf. I'm going to show you how to do the hot cross bun loaf. And we've also over here got a hazelnut chocolate brioche wheel. So I'm going to have a little practice and show you how to achieve that. Really, it is a really impressive brioche wheel. But anyway, before we get started, let's get into, or while we get started, let's get into our very first batch of dough. So, like anything with the Thermomix, it really couldn't be any simpler if we tried. Let me just make sure that I pick the right recipe, which is this. I'll let you have a look at that one so that you know which one you're aiming for. I think that's the screen for that. Oh, no. Oh dear. Okay, so that's the one that you're looking for just the regular hot cross bun. Okay, and we'll hit start cooking. And like I said, can't be simpler with the Thermomix. We just are going through the steps and following our nose. So now these are just a traditional. The first ones I'm going to do are just a traditional hot cross bun. So they've got the lemon zest and obviously the fruit in them as well. So the first step is just using the zest of a lemon. So we're just peeling that very top layer of a lemon just to get that zest. And you know that when you're zesting in your Thermomix, you just peel, chuck your peel in whole like that. Now it does say that that the zest of the lemon is optional. If I was going with the traditional hot cross buns, I would always put the lemon zest in because it really makes them nice and zesty. Okay, now we're going to put our flour in as well. So tear back to 0. Apparently the new TM7 tears back to 0 automatically for us. I still haven't used it yet. It is still coming, but apparently tears back to 0 for us, which I think would be pretty awesome. Yes, I'm yet to see it, but how that works. Okay, so you put a bit of flour in there and then you zest. So you make like a lemon flour. So we've got the zest. 10 seconds. Okay, thanks. And have a look at this. We're going to pop this into a bowl. Look at that. You literally cannot see that lemon. Has completely disappeared out of sight. Oops. A little bit on the bench, but that's the whole idea. We need to, it needs to be, you need to get in there and get dirty, have fun with your cooking. Look at that. Oh, I wish you could smell that. It's like lemony flour. So good. Radio, set that aside. Now we're putting in our milk. Hopefully this is enough milk. Oops, a little bit extra is okay. And some yeast. Make sure that you test your yeast. If it's been a while since you've used yeast, make sure that you have tested your yeast, and you can do a very simple yeast test. You can just Google simple yeast test, but you just put it in water and warm water and see if it bubbles. That pretty much is how you determine if your yeast is still good, because obviously yeast is like a living organism, so it can die. So if you buy the big tin of yeast or cylinder of yeast, I recommend putting it in the freezer if you're not going to use it all straight away. Some people keep it in the fridge. I just like to have it in the freezer, and I know that it's going to be good. Okay, so that actually heats that milk up for 3 minutes, and we'll just pause it there, and we'll be back in a second. Okay, so we've got the dinging happening. So that's our 3 minutes of warming that yeast and milk up. Now we're popping in our reserved flour, so all that flour plus 400 grams more flour. Now again, we're using baker's flour, so I know in lots of our videos I talk about the importance of if it says baker's flour, you really do want to use baker's flour, and you can use baker's flour if it says plain flour as well if you want to. So you don't have to have lots of different flour. I use baker's flour for pretty much everything. You can even make your own self-raising flour out of your baker's flour as well. So it is an all-purpose flour. Rightio, a little bit of salt. Where's my salt? There we go. Pinch of salt and some butter. Go. And caster sugar. Pour in there. We're using our scales, so we can just pour straight in. We don't need to get everything dirty. And an egg. And 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. Better get my teaspoon measure out for this. You probably want to be quite accurate with your spices, so you've got the right mix. So 1.5 teaspoons I'm looking for here. And a half. And what am I doing on the next one? 1.5 of nutmeg. This one's got a funny lid. I always buy fresh spices at Easter time as well, because we don't want the spices that have been sitting in the cupboard all year. And then 1/2 teaspoon of the cloves, which I might just do like that because it's got a sprinkly one. I reckon that'll be enough cloves because that's quite strong. Oh wow, just hits me. Rightio. Now we'll put our lid on, and we will give that 6 seconds. Stirring. Make sure you got your bread mat handy. Ding, ding, ding. Yep. Okay. Scrape down the sides. I don't have my Thermomix spatula, but I've got the other one that comes from the mix shop. Okay, look, this is quite, still needs quite a bit more mixing, but trust the process. Make sure you got all that liquid in there for it. Give it a good scrape. Oh, now we're putting in our sultanas. Now I actually got raisins instead of sultanas. I don't know why. I don't know if there's a difference. I hope not too much of a difference. Oh, no, that's okay. Oh, look at that, 102. And so it says 100 of sultanas and 70 of currants. But I actually got mixed fruit just to mix it up a bit. And this has got glazed cherries and everything in it. So I don't like hot cross buns with I don't actually like hot cross buns with fruit in them. So these ones I'll be giving away. So I'm just mixing up the fruit a little bit as well. Rightio. And now we're going to knead. And like I said, it really does need a good knead, because it was still quite chunky, the mixture. So 2 minutes kneading. Rightio, that's been given a good knead. And let's have a look at our hot cross buns. Now, you guys probably know that I always oil my bread mat when I'm doing any kind of bread or anything. But this is quite a probably can't actually. I'll see if I can show you better on here. It's quite a moist mixture. So because it is already moist, I don't want to add any more moisture to it. So I will actually sprinkle some flour onto my bread mat. So, because, you know, it's Easter and we're going to get messy. Now it's telling me to preheat my oven and pop our dough out. Now, if you pop your dough out, like I said, it is quite a moist mixture. So just release your base, push that out, lift that up like that, and you'll actually be able to grab all of that out easily because you don't have the blades in there. Like so, and that has really mixed that fruit together nicely with our dough. Oh, and it smells like Easter in here. I want to get all that fruit out of there. Rightio. This is where you could oil your hands a little bit, I reckon, just so that you didn't get too dirty your hands. So just a bit of olive oil on your hands, and then you can just grab that dough. Sorry, I mean grab that blade out as well. Righto. So pop that aside, and like I said, we need to have a bit of flour on there so that we can work with that. But let's just wrap that up for a second. And now we're going to put that into a ball, and we're going to wrap that up, and we want to cover, and just if you had this in a bowl, you'd want to cover it with a wet damp cloth. In a silicone mat is fine, and leave to prove, and it says until it's doubled in size, approximately 30 minutes, but that will really depend on how warm your area is and all the rest of it. So just when you're putting it into your bread mat, just make sure that you're just loosely covering it, because you don't want to make it so that it can't double in size. So just a real loose wrap there with your bread mat. Sit that aside and come back in 30 minutes or so. Rightio. Okay, now while that's proving, we're going to get started on our chocolate hot cross buns. So let me just show you that, which one I'm talking about. Chocolate hot cross buns. And and yes, we want to quit our old recipe and start again. Yes. Okay, and I will have to put that into just a bowl or something like that to prove, because my thermomats are busy. So anyway, all good. Rightio. So let's go and make this one. Now, like I said, I don't really like the fruit and I don't really like too much of the spice. So I'm going to make a chocolate hot cross bun. With the chocolate hot cross buns, you can as well just put choc chips in instead of fruit, to still have that real Eastery spice flavour. But these ones have actually got some cocoa in them as well, so even the bread is nice and chocolatey. Rightio. So just this very similar recipe. 2.5 teaspoons yeast, and warm that up. So very similar. I think that's almost exactly the same as the recipe before. We'll pause there and we'll come back when that's warmed up. Okay, so our 2 minutes of warming up has happened. Now we're going to put in our eggs, which was only 1 egg before, now it's 2 eggs. So I don't know. It's a very similar recipe. And 500 grams of baker's flour. I need a bigger cup for my baker's flour. Oops, just sprinkled flour all over my Thermomix, but that's okay. You got to get down and dirty in the kitchen. Rightio, that's good. It's literally flour everywhere. Oh dear. Rightio. Now, this has still got some cinnamon in it. So we've still got that spicy sort of flavour. So 1.5. But none of the others. And some cocoa powder. There we go. Some cocoa powder. Oh, I've spilt cocoa powder as well now. Excellent. And some salt. Bring out that flavour. And pop that on, and we'll just give that a mix up for 20 seconds. Might even give my Thermomix a wipe in that 20 seconds. Quick clean up in aisle 1. A little bit of a workhorse today with all of this Easter bun making. Rightio. And keep the measuring cup in, because we're now going to need that for 5 minutes. So you can see there, it's actually together more than the last batch, but we're now going to need that for 5 minutes. So I've popped that on, and see you back in 5 minutes. Okay, we're ready. I found a new thermomat. Look at it, it's brand new, straight out of the packet. Rightio. Now we're looking for our butter. We've kneaded that beautifully. Oh, looks so good. Hopefully this is enough butter. Might need to grab some more butter. Okay, I've got some more butter. 130 we're looking for of butter. There you go, a little bit extra is okay. And now we're going to need that for an additional 2 minutes now that we've got the butter in there. Rightio. Kneading's done. All that butter's now been completely kneaded in there, into that mixture. There's a little bit on the side there, I'll just push him in. That looks really good. Now it wants me to weigh in my chopped chips now. We're looking for 200 grams of chopped chips. Oh, we need a little bit more, but that's all right. I'll add some more to those. And then we want to put the dough out and then flatten it out, sprinkle the chopped chips on it, and then knead them in, because we don't want to chop up our chopped chips. We don't want it just dispersed all through. So we want to be quite gentle with once the chopped chips go. Another good tip when you're doing the chocolate ones is just to let your dough just cool down a little bit, because we did heat it up to 37 degrees. We want it to just be a little bit cool. We don't want it to get completely cold, because then it won't prove well, but we just don't want it to be too hot, because we don't want to melt those chopped chips as well. So flour your bread mat again, same process. drop him out. Oh, looks good. And scrape this bowl out. Taking your time just so that that does cool down a bit, like I said. Pop that over there. Just get all of that out off your blades. I'd love to hear in the comments who likes the traditional hot cross bun and who prefers a chocolate Easter version of the hot cross bun as well. Because my kids don't like the fruit ones either, but I think I've spoiled them by giving them an option, because when we were kids, we didn't have the option of a chocolate hot cross bun, did we? So anyway, so there you go. Oh, that feels so nice. It's really soft, beautiful dough. So we want to just like that, and we want to sprinkle half of our chopped chips on there, and then just roll that up so that they're getting dispersed evenly throughout that dough. And then try again. Just, oh, feels so nice, that dough. I want to add just a few more choc chips because I was just a little bit short in my amounts. And again, with the choc chips, if you play with them too much, they end up very melted on your hands, so you don't want to do that either. Beautiful. Oh, maybe that's enough choc chips actually, because they're coming out now. There. Whoops. Okay, like that. Just make sure they're all encased under the, oh, maybe I'll just put a few more choc chips because I'm a bit of a sucker for choc chips. Someone did tell me that the choc chips from Aldi, I didn't get them, but apparently the choc chips at Aldi are really quite good, and my Auntie Lynn did try them with some choc chip bickies, and she did report that they were good, and a lot cheaper than the Cadbury ones. So if you're an Aldi shopper, let me know. Do you like the choc chips from Aldi? I didn't get there today. Rightio. So now we've got our chocolate dough. Make sure, like I said, they're all encased in there. Wrap that up. And we're going to let that prove. Now, I'll be back in 2 seconds and I will show you how to put together the hazelnut brioche reef, which is next level. Okay, so I already made the brioche dough, which is just the hazelnut brioche reef recipe. I've left that for about an hour and it has now doubled in size, okay? I also did flour this Thermomat. Just when you get this out of the Thermomix, it is very sticky and very wet and you think, oh, that's not going to work. It will. And it actually even tells you to put some flour on your bench and just hand knead it until it's not sticky. So that gives you a good idea that that's how it's supposed to be. Now, what we need to do is cut this into 3 even pieces. So if you're really pedantic, which I can show you how to do this, you could weigh this. We could weigh it. Okay, it weighs 880, which is easy to divide into 4, but into 3. So 880 divided by 3. Let me do that quick math. 880 divided by 3 is 293. Okay, great. So we know that each of our 3 even pieces needs to be about 293 grams. So let's see how we went. Oh, not far off. 296. There we go. So that's good. I reckon that'll need a little bit extra. Yes. A little bit too much. I don't know who actually does this when they make bread rolls, but this is the way to get your bread rolls perfectly done, is to make them all, oh, look at that, to make them all perfectly the same. You can weigh like 60-gram rolls or 80-gram rolls, and it is you do get perfect bread rolls, and they all look the same, which is great. So what we're trying to do here is get ourselves 3 discs basically of this mixture, and give that a bit of a knead. We're going to roll this out, maybe move cameras so that I can show you this like that. Let me go to the other one. Oops, not that one. Sorry guys, not used to being down here by myself. Rightio, and I will oil my rolling pin. So I haven't completely, the wheels haven't fallen off completely. I'm still rolling my rolling pin. Rightio, so now I'm looking on my Thermomat. This is the size that I want to get to, or just slightly bigger then, okay. So give that a good roll. This could be ASMR, couldn't it? Just watching me roll. And this dough is quite tight, so just let it relax in between rolls, because we do want to make it so that it is that shape as much as we can. We want to be nice and neat with this. So take your time. This is where the love goes into it. Now not even a circle now. I was going to say I'll try and speed this bit up, but I don't think I'm that clever with my editing skills, so you might just have to watch this. Here we go. Just make sure it's relaxed. We want it to be okay. And now you can actually sit that first one on the tray, and it tells you to put it onto a pizza tray, which is a good idea. We want to put it on there. Might give that a little oil too. Let me just pause for a second. Okay, I have just oiled underneath that pizza tray, and I've put down my first one. And now I'm going to roll these 2 out. Okay, so I've rolled it out into 3 circles, and this one's actually bigger, so I've swapped over my bits here. So I'm going to go onto my tray, and we want it to be like almost the size of the tray. Then we want to get our Nutella, which is one of my guilty pleasures. I absolutely love Nutella, and you can make your own Nutella in the Thermomix too, which I did back in the day, back in the good old days, with mixed reviews from the little pithers. They were not big fans of the homemade Nutella. One of them was, actually, I should say, but it was something that sat in the fridge for ages, and you knew that it wasn't fabulous. So let's spread this out like so. And you want to get it as much to the edges. It doesn't really matter how pretty this is, but you want to get it, you want to make sure that all your brioche has got some Nutella on it like that. And then we want to go in with probably our next biggest one. Oh, and once you put that down, you're really stuck there. So make sure you do that as good as you can. Okay, more Nutella. You could weigh your Nutella. There is an amount that you're meant to do, but I feel like a little bit more Nutella, the better. So again, get that all out to the edges. The edges is where you really need the Nutella. Obviously, your Nutella not from the fridge. You want to have room temperature Nutella as well. Okay, here we go. And another layer on there. Rightio. There we go. And we want to make sure that's out like so. Now what we want to do is we want to put a circle in the middle, and just give it a little press, because that's going to be where our where we go to. I'm going to quickly just wash that. I know, which is sacrilege, because I'm washing Nutella down the drain. I should be licking that off that. But I'm just going to give that a quick wash, and I'm going to put a little bit of oil on that just so that it slides through my things. Because now what we're doing is we're going to give that, we're cutting this, and we want to cut all the way through. Okay. So we want to go all the way down to our tin, like so. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think we needed 16, so maybe I should have gone another cut, but we want to make sure that we've got an even amount. Righto. Then what we do is we just get these little fellas, pry them open like that, and give them a twist. And you can twist like that, so away and then to each other like that, so that they're in. And in the picture, they've actually brought this up and somehow put it there prettily, but just do the same thing with all of them. Go towards each other. That one's a bit of a big one. Like so. This one's a little baby one. It doesn't matter. These type of things look so impressive that people will be wondering how you did this. I'll just make him turn from there. And like so. Rightio. Now we're just going to leave that to prove. I just want to, in between here, I just want to make sure that that's cut all the way in to those, to get that turning. Anyway, look at that. There's our reef. Doesn't look very impressive yet, but trust me, it will look impressive. So we're going to leave that for another 20 minutes to prove, and we'll be back with our next step. Okay, so sticking with our traditional hot cross buns, I'm going to make the piping for them now. So I'm back into that recipe. The piping's just later in the recipe. And we're putting in our flour. And this is just a traditional cross for a hot cross bun. I am going to do a icing cross on another lot to show you that as well. Okay, so 60 or 80 grams of flour. And some salt. and some olive oil. Need some more olive oil. That'll be enough olive oil. And some water. Oh, look at that. Perfect. And we just mix that up for 30 seconds. I am coming. I was trying to find another spatula. Not to be. Okay, so now when we're piping these, you can use a piping bag, which I do have. Let me have a quick look. I do have these disposable piping bags from the mix shop. I find that the actual piping set is all too thick for the bun, for the cross. So you want to just cut this like as close to the corner as you can, because you want it to be super skinny. Oh, and you don't want to cut that obviously until you fill this with this mixture. So just get a cup and put that there like so, and then get this mixture and give that a clean. And give this, this is quite a thick, like toothpaste sort of consistency, which is what you want. And get that into your piping bag. And just set that aside until you're ready for it. So I'm going to do some with icing. So I read a recipe that has icing, that you actually ice them at the end, and they look great. So I'm going to try that with another lot, but let's do this one the traditional way. This is the way we used to do it. Oh yeah, so we've got our stuff there, and we want to just cut that right at the end to get a really nice point. But let's get our buns out and get them going. So this is doubled in size beautifully. Again, if you're going to do 12, we could check how much that weighs. And scales. And it wants me to use the Thermomix sensor to 1. Oh, so it did say 120 grams, no, 100 grams, 12 at 100 grams. So it will be just short of that. So that'll be good. It wants me to use the Thermomix sensor. I'm probably not going to do that today, but I need to cut that into 3. It's all about maths today, isn't it? 4 3s are 12. Hopefully these are a good or close to 100. Oh, that's not going to be 3. Gosh, what am I doing? There we go. Okay, let's see how we're going with amounts that these weigh. First one. Oh, 94. Okay, that's not too bad. Anyway, Let me show you how to roll these, because this is the thing where people will go a bit wrong with their Easter buns. So we want to flatten them out. I might just swap screens. Flatten them out, and then bring the sides in like that. Okay, roll them over, and then just let them roll around. There's too much flour on there. Let them roll around. You want them to actually grab like that. Okay, and you'll get a perfect, if you just let it roll in your hand like that. So I'm just putting my hand there loosely and rolling it. You have a perfectly round bun. That's what we want. So these ones I'm just going to do the old-fashioned way on the tray, like so. That's like a tiny bit. We'll just, again, in, all in, and then that one's a bit stickier. So there we go. Around on the bench like that. Just your hand loosely over the top, and it's getting a really nice roundness to it. That's what we want. Okay. Little tiny bit left there. And these fruits, actually, perfect amount of fruit in these. If you liked fruit in your hot cross buns. Here we go. So, and this is the fun bit. Making sure that these all look even and perfect. Rolling. We're going to let these prove again before we go into the oven as well. And we want them like just kissing each other on the tray there as well. We don't want to make them too close, but we also don't want them to be separated either, so that they've got that nice little touch point. There we go. And I'm not being too pedantic on these sizes, but we also want nice fluffy buns, so we don't want to overwork our dough either. So just as little amount of working as you can do, but you want it to be nice and round. There we go. Oh, this one looks like a big one. Oh, there we go. If you put Easter into your COOKIDOO search and say collections, there will be some other really good ideas in there for different things to be making over the Easter break as well. So some savoury things, lots of chocolate. We love chocolate at Easter. But yeah, so there's some really good different things in there as well. Different Easter breads from around the world, and there's so much variety on COOKIDOO these days. You are spoilt for choice of where you want to cook from. There's some Polish Easter breads, and we'll just make that one a little bit bigger. They're all pretty well 100, just under 100. There we go. Look at those. That is pretty good. Rightio, let me just pop that away. Okay, so now is our crossing time. So we want to make sure they're all nice. Using my rose gold tray from the mix shop, which we love. And let me see if I can make this very small, this cut. And of course I don't have any scissors here, but let me just use a knife. Rightio. I wonder if that'll be big enough. Let's see. Rightio. So let's go. Moment of truth for the crosses. And fun fact is that you can actually have hot cross buns any time of the year and just don't put the cross on them, because the cross is what makes them for Easter, apparently. Rightio, there we go. So there's our first lot of hot cross buns ready for the oven. We just can leave them a couple of minutes before we put them in the oven, but then they'll be ready to go in. Okay, so now we're back to our brioche. Now this is a step that's probably easier to do without your Thermomix. An egg yolk and some milk just in a bowl, because you're now going to wash your brioche with that. So we've left it for another 20 minutes. You can see it's sort of puffed out a little bit, and we want to give this a good wash all over with our egg wash. Make sure it doesn't burn. And we're going to, I think, cook it for 20 minutes. I'll just double check that. Our other hot cross buns, our traditional hot cross buns, are in the oven now for 15 minutes. Let's have a look at that. That all looks good. And let me just check. We're going to go in for 20 to 25. So I'm going to pop that in the bottom. That's now in the oven as well. And we've got a little bit longer to wait for our traditional hot cross buns. Okay, we're back to our chocolate hot cross buns now. This is doubled in size, which is beautiful. And I'm going to show you a little thing that I like to do with these. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit more flour. I want these to be about 100 grams as well. So I'll just chop this up. Actually, I might just check my weights. Okay, so 100 will actually get 13 of these, so that's good. So let me see how I can go here with 100 grams. Oops, no, not very good. Anyway, exactly the same process for rolling these ones, except you will end up getting just a few little choc chips fall out at you, which is okay. But I want to show you how I present these. So these are always the ones that if you get given hot cross buns from me as a gift, these are the ones that I do for the gifts, because I just find more people like the chocolate ones these days than the fruit ones. I know it's not traditional, but if I went back to fruit ones, I think I'd get shot by some of my friends, because they do love the chocolate ones. Rightio. So I'm going to chop all these up into about 100 gram amounts, because we want them all to be fairly similar. Oops. And I'll show you how I'm going to cook these to make them as gifts. Okay, so I've rolled all these out, and I've got now my big tray from the mix shop, and I'm just going to put these in a little ring. So 6 per ring, like that. Again, make sure they're touching, just kissing like that. So 2 rings. I've made 2 extras. They're for our taste testers later. Put them there together. Okay, and they can just prove for a little bit longer, then they can go in the oven when the rest is ready. Just forgot to mention, I'll show you putting a cross on these traditionally, and then I'll show you the other one I'm going to do. So if you're going to put a traditional cross, go all the way around. You want to make sure you put plenty on it. Don't be stingy with your white cross, because we don't want it to just fade away. And then across like this. We don't want it to fall off like that one's about to. Oops. I'll show you from up the top. Okay. And like I said, put plenty on because you don't want that to just disappear in the oven either. Rightio. Okay, and I'll show you these ones done the other way. Okay, check these out. We have got our traditional hot cross buns, and I did just leave them in the oven just like maybe 5 minutes too long. But anyway, traditional hot cross buns. And here is our brioche reef, which doesn't look that dark in real life. But anyway, I'll take some photos and pop them up as well. Now we've got our more chocolate ones in the oven. Okay, now back to our traditional hot cross bun recipe. We are putting in some water, 2 tablespoons. 2 tablespoons of water. We're making the glaze now. And 2 tablespoons of sugar. Just make sure when you're putting your sugar in, you put it beside the blades so that you don't end up with sugar at the top that hasn't dissolved. And now 2 minutes, this is just going to heat that water up and make a glaze with that water. So it's just sugary water basically. And then we're going to glaze those nice hot traditional hot cross buns, and we'll have a look at them. Okay, so now our glaze is ready. I've just cleaned my brush and we literally, oh dear, my bad. These are hot still, and we're just going to glaze them with that hot syrup. And it makes them nice and shiny. And you can use this glaze for all of the hot cross buns. It makes a nice shiny dough on them. Let's give them a good, making lots of mess today, I tell you. Rightio. Now, once they've cooled, I'm going to present those ones just on a chopping board. It's got my handy little chopping board here. I'm going to present those ones on there, but I'm just letting them cool on that wire rack just for the time being. Now with my brioche, just trying to think how I'm going to present it. I might present it on my big chopping board here. Once it's slightly cooled, you can just lift it off. I might need to grab an egg flip. 2 seconds. Okay, so that didn't come off as easily as I would have liked. I did overcook this a little bit, but it's not as bad as it looks. I can see it in the camera, and it looks very dark. It's not quite that dark. The Nutella has gone a little bit brown there. But anyway, I just slid one of these underneath and prized it off. So maybe a little bit of baking paper would be my tip under your brioche as well. Okay, our chocolate hot cross buns are now out of the oven. And as you can see, the ones who got the cross have got the cross. These ones are still waiting for their cross. And for their cross, I've just mixed in a bowl some icing sugar and some milk until you get, again, you want like a toothpaste consistency. Okay, and I'll put that in a piping bag and I'll ice these as soon as they've cooled a little bit. But what I do want to do to these guys is give them a good glaze, and you can use your same recipe for your glaze. And then I want to get them onto a cooling mat. Oh, that's sizzling, that's good. You want to get them onto a cooling rack to cool. And then I'll show you what I'm going to do with these little wreaths that I've made. Like I said, these are my gifting ones. Got my taste testers ready to go. We'll just wait till everything cools a bit and we'll get some butter and we'll have a taste test. Rightio. Okay, I've got my taste testers ready to go. Come on in, guys. These ones are still a little bit warm, so I'm going to still show you what I'm doing with those ones in a second. No, they're not for you. You're not allowed to have those ones. But what I'll show you how I'm going to ice these, because I want you guys to try this icing as well. So you've got lots of options here, guys. Oh. There you go. I might just wait and I'll ice those later. Right. First things, brioche, Nutella, reef. Everyone grab a piece of that. And we've got special guest Oliver is the ring in today. Hop in so everyone can see you. Wes? Down a bit. Everybody's grown, so we we're off the camera. What do you think of the Nutella brioche reef, guys?
Pretty good. Really good.
Good?
Mm.
Out? Good?
Yeah.
Excellent. Rightio, quick, eat up. Next is going to be a traditional hot cross bun, and I'll put some butter on them for you. I know you guys aren't the biggest fans of these. Look at these, but they are fluffy, amazing. I know you aren't as a big a fan of these traditional ones as traditional means the way that everybody has hot cross buns, which is with the fruit in it, and the spices. And I'll just give you a little. Oh, Oliver's already done. Excellent. Okay, I'll give you a little try of this because I know these aren't your favourite, Oliver. But I just want you to have a try of these. There you go. There you go. Where's... Rightio. Traditional hot cross buns. What do we think?
They're really nice to bite.
They're nice. They're good, aren't they? Okay. What we've all been waiting for, the choc chip hot cross buns. Now, I will try and ice these just so that you've got the whole experience. I'm doing them as a gift. They're for the for our friends. So look at this. This is the idea of icing the hot cross bun after it comes out of the oven, and see how you can really get that cross really, really good. And it stays a little bit liquidy. You could pop them in the fridge and that could set, or you could just do them like this. It really depends. Rightio. Now I'm going to give you a try of these ones, guys. Oh, look at those. Again, really beautiful and fluffy and soft. Let's put some butter on because everything's better with butter. What do you think of the brioche? What's your favourite so far? The brioche?
Probably the Nutella.
The Nutella?
Yeah.
Righto.
Forgot me.
Oh, what about you, Ali? I won't forget you, Sparkle. It's all good. Okay, here we go. There's yours, Ali. Hang on a sec.
Stop.
We had forgotten Molly. We thought you didn't want to be part of it, Molly, but come on in. I've got a hot cross bun for you.
Why does it have fruit? No,
it's got fruit in it.
It's chocolate.
It's chocolate? No, it's not. That's a traditional. What do you think, Mol?
Wait, is this?
That's traditional with the fruit. Nice. Yeah, good. Righto. Kids have been ice skating today, which was fun. Here you go, Mol. Try that one. What do you think of the
What
chocolate?
about Oliver?
I'll try that
Oh,
one.
Oliver, have you not had one yet? Oh gosh. Okay. Okay. What do you think of? And now just be careful because that one's got the icing on the bottom, Oliver. What do you think?
Which one's this?
Hmm?
Which one's this? You're going to a quick
That's
enough
choc
chocolate.
chip. Choc chip hot cross buns. What's your favourite?
This one.
Where's? Choc chip's your favourite?
Come
Choc chip, chocolate choc chip is your favourite? Chocolate choc chip, chocolate
What
choc
about
chip.
this
Okay, it's unanimous.
Nutella?
It's unanimous vote that the chocolate choc chip hot cross buns, and these are my famous ones. Everyone who, like I was saying, everyone who gets these as a gift always gets these ones. So these are the best. You heard it here first. Rightio. Thanks, guys, and I hope you enjoyed the Easter bun and Easter extravaganza. I hope everybody has a very happy Easter.